Who are we? We are the Buffaloes. B-U-F-F-A-L-O-E-S, Buffaloes. You go home and get your scannies, I'll go home and get my panties, and away we'll go. Oh, shuffle up the buffalo, shuffle up the buffalo. Oh, buffaloes never die, never die, never die. Oh, buffaloes never die, they simply fade away. How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? It's the same old street refrain as the buffaloes won the game. How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? They all play a jolly good game of bally-boo. They all play a jolly good game of bally-boo. They all play a jolly good game, but buffaloes beat them all the same. Inky, pinky, bally-boo. How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? How do you do? It's the same old street refrain that the buffaloes won the game. How do you do, all your buffaloes? How do you do? Oh, buffaloes never die, never die, never die. Oh, buffaloes never die, they simply fade away. They simply fade away. They simply fade away.
Final block tonight, the Darwin Buffaloes taking on the Palmerston Magpies, and it is of course the CFS Gear Umpires round. We're acknowledging and paying thanks to all the hard work of all our NTFL umpires across the season. And well, this afternoon on field, our field umpires John Halward, Brodie Morecambe and Craig Garland. They came out a little bit earlier, escorted by our junior umpires in Cooper Bayment, Max Trigwell and Noah Lenore. Boundary umpires for this afternoon's game, Zane Bishop, Catherine Flynn and Jasper Hutt. And our goal umpires for this afternoon's game, William Wood, Sharon Morecambe, making her debut this afternoon as well. AFL, NT and the Northern Territory Football League would like to take this time to thank their premier partners, TIO, the Northern Territory Government, the Australian Government. I would also like to acknowledge our NTFL sponsors and partners, Coca-Cola, Carlton United Breweries, Towards Zero, Impex, Intersport, No More, Kazali's Palmerston Club, Sterling NT, Quality People, Bridge Toyota and Sharon. And a big thank you to our media partners and broadcast partners with 7 News Darwin, the NT News, Links 104.9 and Hot 100, Kick Digital and NITV. The cricket and football shop NT in Winnellie has been around for 20 years and they are moving into the future with CFS Gear. CFS Gear is the top-end one-stop local shop specialising in uniforms, sporting hardware, promotional and medical products. Come on down and say good day to Graham, Noons and the team. They keep it local. CFS Gear located at 422 Stewart Highway, Winnellie. CFS Gear supporting AFL NT. And while you're here, be sure to visit and say good day to the NTFL umpires major sponsors, Graham and Noons from CFS Gear. They're at the merchandise stand on the ground floor of the grandstand. Once again, play getting underway very shortly here at TIO Stadium with the Darwin Buffaloes up against the Palmerston Magpies. Both captains have now made their way into the centre of the field with Mark Noonan from CFS Gear to do the coin toss. Just came off fresh of umpiring a game as well, Mark Noonan. And looks like the Darwin Buffaloes have won the toss and then elected to kick to the airport end for the first quarter.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to TIO Stadium in Darwin for round 3 of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League competition. We've got today's game between Darwin Buffaloes and the Palmerston Magpies. My name's Liz Cruz, and joining me in the commentary box today is Stu Davis. How are you, Stu?
Good, thanks, Liz. Really looking forward to this game. Both teams have started the season pretty well, although Palmerston got overrun in the first round, but a good win last week, and they're full of confidence. So, yeah, looking forward to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, both teams coming off a win last week. Buffs beat Crocs and Palmerston beat Tiwi, so should be a great game out there as we see two teams get ready for the beginning of the game today. This round is CFS Gear umpiring round. The Cricket and Football Shop have been long-time supporters of NTFL clubs and umpires right across the NT. So it's great to see our umpiring round where we pay a little bit of a tribute to the men in green, Stu. Yeah,
obviously they do a great job, and unsung heroes, really. They do. Wouldn't have a game without them, and it's good to see this young fella, John Howarth, up here umpiring some NTFL footy from the AFL ranks.
I should say men and women in green, because there's quite a number of female umpires out there.
So Buffaloes with the early free kick going inside 50. Out on the lead, Mark Spilt, but Collinson picks it up off the ground, kicks in towards the goal square. McMasters was in front, got bundled out of the way. Matty Campbell over the ball and sees it over the boundary line in the right forward pocket for the Buffaloes.
There's a young fella in the back line for Palmerston, Tyrell Louis. He was the NTFL Rising Star last week. He's had a really good season start at Palmy after crossing from Wanderers.
So Palmerston with their hands on the ball in defence and eventually work it out. Looking there for Nigel Lockyer. Couldn't take the mark. Seaton Kernoth gets a hand pass over the top. Eventually it comes out to Timmy Eldridge. He spears the ball forward. Lockie McKenzie on the end of this gets swung around in the tackle. Manages to find a teammate with a hand pass in the end. And good delivery inside. Forward 50 by Cale Cossack. Finds Foster on the lead, and Liz Foster's had a good start to the season, 11 goals in the first 2 rounds, and looking to get the first goal on the board tonight as well. Yeah,
absolutely. We've seen a lot of him in the last 2 weeks. 6 goals in the first round and 5 goals last week, and he's a pretty accurate kick, so I'm going to back him in for this one, Stu.
Wow. It's just
the old commentator.
Hang it out to the right, yes.
But he has been impressive, as you said. 11 goals in 2 weeks is a pretty good return. He's from originally South Gambia in the Western Border Football League, and last year he kicked 100 goals for Glencoe. He's the first player in South Australia to do so.
Yeah, and we saw a bit of him up here playing for Buffs last year as well, and he impressed in the games that he played then, and he's not listed as a fly-in player, so that suggests to me that he's moved up full-time, which is terrific for Buffs.
Well, speaking of fly-in players, that's Joshy Philo, who's flown in for today's game, number 4 for Palmerston with that kick.
So, ball on the ground, good hands in there, but Stokes couldn't couldn't control it in the end, and high contact there, and free kick to Eric Guthrie, who's started the season pretty well for Palmerston as well. We saw Palmerston in round 1, of course, Liz, and he was one of their better players that day.
He was. There's a couple of changes to this week's team, not too many, but again, a great win last week to get their confidence up, and they'll go into today's game wanting another win against Buffs.
So Mackenzie chopped that one off, chips inside to Bowles, who's a really important player for Darwin. He's looking inside 50, but that kicks astray and marked by Kobe and in defence. Looking to play on, but that avenue was chopped off, so he changed his mind. Goes up the corridor and finds Chris Williams. Of course, Chris Williams transferring across from Buffaloes to Palmerston this year, and he's started the season in red-hot form as well.
Yeah, well, he was Buffalo's best and fairest last year, so his first game against his old club will be interesting. Good tackle there, holding the ball, and it's going to be a Buffalo's free kick by the looks out there.
So the chip in by Jackson Clark, and finds his captain Jared Stokes, and straight through the hands down there of Daniel Kapara. But gets a second opportunity and pass across to Matty Campbell, kicks into the goal square. I think that's come off hands and through for a behind only. So no goals on the board so far. The ball's been camped in Buffalo's forward line, and Palmerston just struggling to move it out.
Yeah, their kicking hasn't been good so far out of the back line, so hopefully they can rectify that now as we see Matty Dennis put it up, but cut off there by Buffs, and that's Callan Wilson.
Callan Wilson, into the side I think this week.
Yeah, I did notice him running water last week. He's very tall, Callan, so you can't miss him with that ponytail.
Certainly is. I remember his dad actually, a premiership player with Southern Districts, and then went across to Wanderers, I think afterwards followed Mark Motlop. But anyway, in the meantime,
that man again.
Brody Foster again with another chance. This kick looks better. Goal umpire's not moving much this time, and first goal on the board to Buffaloes. Probably just reward for the amount of possession that they've had and the territory that they've had the ball in. So first goal for the game, and Buffaloes open out that lead to 8 points.
Yeah, well, as I said, Palmerston's kicking hasn't been great coming out of defence, and that's exactly what happened. Callum Wilson chopping it off, and Brody Foster getting that goal. So just coming up to the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 1-8, leading Palmerston yet to score.
Yeah, so Callum Wilson in the ruck up against Matty Dennis, and no one really gets their hand to that one. Guthrie's in there with hands, but his teammate couldn't take possession, and Guthrie's over the top of it again, and we'll have another ball up right in the centre of the ground. Dennis this time wins it easily down to Williams, but he's tackled as soon as he takes possession. Ball's caught in underneath a pack of players, and again we'll try for a restart. Dennis again, a good hit out, and Guthrie on the left gets it forward. Seaton Kernoth there picks up cleanly, gets a hand pass across to Loudon. Loudon drives the ball inside forward 50. Matty Campbell coming out to meet the ball on the ground. Look for Foster, gets it back now. Campbell running into the open goal, and he has dragged it to the left. Just enough pressure, I think, from the Palmerston defence, and nonetheless missed what you would normally expect him to get.
You absolutely would. So, yeah, just 6-minute mark, 1-3-9. So, Darwin have had 4 scoring shots to none so far. So, as that ball comes in, and Matty Dennis goes for the mark, but he's going to get a free kick there against Callum Wilson.
Yeah, just nudged out the way, and umpire said that was illegal. He chips it in short here to John Harvey at half-back. Harvey looking to move the ball quickly. Gets a hand pass here to Liam Flanagan. Flanagan goes down this wing. And Toshi Kernoth on the end of that. Hand passes back inside to Harvey. Harvey drives it down towards half forward for Palmerston, but Buffaloes are pretty well set up across the half back line there, and a strong tackle on Chris Williams, and a bit of reaction, and as you'd expect.
Buffaloes boys are saying hello to Chris, and we've missed you.
Chris was in fact the reigning best and fairest winner for Buffaloes, so Anyway, Palmerston now inside 50 for almost the first time, I think, in the game, but wasn't the cleanest of inside entries. Jared Stokes back there a couple of times, gets a hand pass out, and now it's Timmy Eldridge looking to clear it out of defence for Darwin. Does so with a handball eventually under some pressure, but misdirected, and the ball works its way back inside Palmerston's forward 50. Strong tackle there, but umpire said he had no prior opportunity, couldn't get rid of that one, and so umpire Howarth comes in and will ball it up again just inside forward 50 for Palmerston. Seaton Kerneth for Buffaloes quickly onto the beat, had more time than he realised, I think, and probably could have done better with that, but Buffs work it out again. Jalen Clark on the left drives the ball forward. Matty Campbell's there's no one behind him, it's an open paddock, but he takes a mark, he chips inside now. Running onto the ball there is Thomas Clark, got a toe to it, but picked it up, but was under pressure then and bundled over the boundary line for a throw-in.
I think it's Thomas Clark's first game for this season. He had a pretty busy off-season playing for Brothers in the rugby premiership a couple of weeks ago, and he's just looking super fit. I know he's done a heap of work, so that should hold him in good stead for NTFL season.
Yeah, it's good to see, and obviously a talented kid, and hopefully he can produce the goods as well in the NTFL. Lockie McKenzie out there tried to fend off a tackle, but eventually he gets penalised for incorrect disposal, and Palmerston the chance to relieve a bit of pressure down at half-back.
Yeah, we're just coming up to the 9-minute mark of this quarter on the AFL NTV coverage, and if you're watching on the NT News app, a big hello to everyone out there. As we see Palmerston, they're going to take this kick from the St Mary's wing, we'll call it, over there on the scoreboard side. That's gone out again. So I can see Mikey Coombs out there in the pink. He's runner for Darwin Buffaloes. He played last week, but I think he's hurt his hand. So in one of those contests, he'll be a big out for Buffs today.
Yeah, always plays hard, Mikey. So, yeah, but normally brushes them off. But so it must have been a pretty serious one for him to miss out. Buffaloes again bring it inside forward 50. Oh, collision of players there. Jared Stokes picks up, gets a hand pass across, an opportunity to finish, but that's a pretty ordinary attempt again from about 10 metres out. And this time Daniel Kapara, who was really waltzing into the goal and just miskicked it for a behind again. So Flanagan brings it in for Palmerston. He finds Philo. Chips it out to the back pocket where he's got John Harvey. He's looking to play on, but some good work on the mark by Joey Collinson. Stopped him getting away. Ball finishes up in Collinson's hands now. Hooks it over his shoulder and into the arms of his captain, Jared Stokes. Deep in the left forward pocket. And Stokes just slows things down and will go back and have a set shot for goal.
We're used to seeing Jared Stokes kicking goals up the other end, actually. He's some famous goals he's kicked in grand finals and things as he goes around and has a shot at that one, and the umpire doesn't move and the players clap. So that's the second goal for Darwin Buffaloes here at the 10.5-minute mark.
Yeah, so a pretty impressive start by Darwin. They've had all of the territory and a couple of goals on the board now. They've missed a couple that they probably should have got as well. So, yeah, Palmerston been a little bit disappointing to start the game. Their ball use hasn't been great, as you've mentioned a couple of times, Liz, and just lacking a bit of composure, I think. So just need to get their hands on the ball and steady the game a bit and just get some possession their way and work the ball forward and try to get a bit of system going forward. But
absolutely, and Jared Stokes, who kicked that goal, he is the captain of Darwin Buffaloes this year, while that man going up in the ruck for Palmerston is their captain, Matty Dennis.
Dennis and Atkinson. Again, no one gets their hand to the ball. Atkinson gets a foot to it and advances at about 20 metres. Clark got the hand pass across to McKenzie, deep forward, and umpire says that's a push. And it's Hayden Brown who'll take the free kick for Palmerston, deep in defence. Brings it out towards the grandstand half-back flank. Double fister by Sean Armat there over the boundary line. And we'll have a boundary throw in 12 minutes into this first quarter of the round 3 TIO NTFL match.
And, of course, the coaches today, Cameron Stokes in his first season, who took over from Matty Campbell for Buffaloes, and Froggy Davey, Alwyn Froggy Davey, in his fourth season for the Palmerston Magpies.
So Foster picks the ball up inside 50, hooks the ball round to the goal square. A big leap from behind. Mark not paid, and dribbles over for yet another behind.
Yeah, he just juggled that over the line there. And the play will be brought back in by Magpies, and that's Michaelis McMasters bring it in. He's a Centralian who's come up like Daniel Stafford and a few others this season. He second or third season for Magpies, I think.
Yeah, we certainly played last year, and was one of their better performers all year, I think. So
I know he played last year because he lived with the coach, and I'd pop round to say hello and visit Janelle and Froggy, and they had a house full. They got 6 kids, and they had 2 footballers living with them as well. So very good club people are Janelle and Alwyn Davey.
So Stafford down there used his body well and kicked the ball off the ground deep forward, but he hasn't got much support. And Buffaloes work it out with handball. Jackson Clark kicks across the face of goal and finds Callum Wilson down there. Wilson has a running player here in Eldridge and chips it over to him at half back. Eldridge slows it down now, has a look around, decides to drive along this grandstand wing where he's got a teammate there in Cale Cossack just sitting underneath that.
And Cale used to play for Nightcliff, and he's from Catherine, of the famous Cossack brothers from down there. We see that kick go in, and there's going to be a free kick to Joey Collinson for high contact. But yeah, a bit different to see Cale Cossack in the Buffs colours this year.
Collinson's kick was a beauty out in front of Foster. Couldn't take the mark, but he recovered well and now kicks in towards the goal square. Oh, Brown was in front but couldn't take the mark. Campbell at the back was tackled, and play on's the call.
Ooh.
And another tackle. Stokes this time hooks over his shoulder. Looks pretty good.
Wow, what a goal. Jared Stokes.
Yeah, I think he had to kick it in the end because he had a free player in the goal square that maybe he didn't see, but took the responsibility, and he kicks his second in a row from about the same spot, although one was a set shot and that one was in general play.
Well, I did say I don't see him kick many goals down this end, but I might change my mind now. Of course, Jared, the captain, he's played over 150 games for Darwin Buffaloes. He was the 2017-18 Cheney medalist in the losing grand final side against Southern District, and he's played for NT Thunder, and yeah, just a fantastic player. He's from good bloodlines, the Stokes family, and I'm pretty sure his mum's a Quoll, which is a famous name at the Darwin Buffaloes. So, yeah, very good genes there. 15-minute mark of the first quarter. Darwin 3-5-23, leading Palmerston yet to score.
So Wilson got his hand to that ball, but it spills out to Clark, and Mackenzie hand passes over the top. Bowles has the ball in front of him, gets the hand pass up, and that's Hodder, in fact, who got his boot to the ball there. Oh, some strong tackling in there. Eventually the free kick's paid for in the back. I think it was there all along. And umpire runs in to try and defuse anything that might start there. No problem. And it's Fletcher Wilson who'll go back. His kick's not the best. Seaton Kernoth was first there, but he couldn't pick the ball up. Jackson Clark with quick hands out to Mackenzie, but Chris Williams chops that one off, and he thumps the ball inside 50 for Palmerston. Stafford's waiting at the back, but it doesn't get that far. And Buffaloes work it out of defence again. Eldridge with the kick down the line. Groves reaching back, couldn't take it, but he comes back with a good tackle and another strong tackle. But the tackle took Mackenzie over the boundary line, and it's a boundary throw in right in front of the Palmerston interchange bench.
Yeah, good tackling, as you said, Stu, because their disposal by foot hasn't been good so far, and it's something I'm sure the coaches will talk about at quarter time as we see Tommy Clark kick that ball into his attacking zone, and that's a mark there to Daniel Kapara. Is that how you say it?
Well, that's how I'm saying it. But,
he's turned it over.
He's been pretty prominent early, but hasn't been damaging on the scoreboard yet, but had a fair bit of it up forward.
Well, he's a fly-in from Adelaide. He plays with Modbury in the Adelaide Football League, and he's been on the Adelaide Crows development side in the Sandful until COVID-19, so he will be one to watch. So
ball on the ground on the outer side. There's a whistle here, umpire Craig Garland, and it's going Palmerston's way. And it's not Joey Thompson, it's Kobe Anand, I think.
And as we said, it is CFS umpiring round. Today's umpires number 5, John Howarth, number 9, Brodie Morecambe, and number 25, Craig Garland, in control for us today.
So Buffs work it out of defence again, and pass over the top sees them running through the outer wing, chip in towards half forward. Good work by Jared Stokes to knock the ball forward, but Palmerston had the numbers defensively, and it's picked up there by Elijah Kelly. He's under some pressure and got tackled with the ball. Holding the ball was the decision, and Darwin Buffalo's another chance to go forward. Kick comes in high towards the forward line. A kick off the ground by Collinson. He likes it, and it's gone straight through the middle. So Joey Collinson back at the Buffaloes this year. He's been a bit of a journeyman himself through the grades and through some clubs, and of course he started at Buffaloes and back home this year.
Wow, off the ground. Well, everything's going right in the first quarter for Darwin Buffaloes. That's their 4th goal. Joey Collinson off the ground, but as we've seen in previous weeks, anything can happen. There's 3 quarters to go. So 18-minute mark of the first quarter. Darwin Buffaloes 4-5-29, leading Palmerston yet to score after that goal from Joey Collinson, Stu.
Yeah, so you look at the flags on the outer side, and they definitely, the wind definitely seems to be favouring the end that Buffaloes are kicking to, but I don't think it's given them as much of an advantage as the scoreboard shows at the moment.
And we had a bit of rain earlier today. I was down here for the women's game this morning, and there was a bit of rain, but the deck looks magnificent out there now. I
thought you'd work the women's game into the conversation somehow, Liz, but anyway, that's for later.
I'll give you the results later. Great game of football this morning.
So the ball on the outer side now. Palmerston with an opportunity to go forward. The kick comes in from Joey Thompson inside forward 50. Stafford coming in from behind, but the ball spills forward and running into the open goal. And that was Nigel Lockyer, I think. And yes, it was. And the first real opportunity they've had at goal, and they've managed to convert. So if they can keep that sort of efficiency up when they go forward, they'll keep themselves in the game. But, you know, some class players involved in that play, and we know that they've got some talent in their side. They just need to get their hands on the ball a bit and start using it a bit better. Yeah, for sure. Well, Nigel Lockyer kicked 5 last week for Palmerston Magpies in their win over TIO Bombers, and as we know, he's a fantastic player. He spent time with NT Thunder. He spent time earlier this year or the end of last year down with Essendon in the VFL, and he's a Rovers multiple premiership player down in the CAFL. He finished second in this season's CAFL Minahan medal behind Abraham Anchors. So yeah, he's a class player who Palmy will want a bit more out of him today after that first goal. So Palmerston another chance out of the middle. Nice little toe poke off the ground by Thompson. Goes inside 50, a strong tackle, but that was high according to umpire Howarth, and Tim Eldridge will take that free kick at centre half back for Darwin. He switches the ball to the outer half back flank where Dylan Gordon takes the mark and drives the ball wider again, and out in front was Fletcher Wilson. Saw the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in. Dylan Gordon, he's switched clubs as well. He went to Palmerston, he's back at Buffaloes, so another one who's switched clubs within the NTFL this season. So his first game back for his old team, and lining up on big Daniel Stafford there by the looks, which will be a great contest. Yeah, well, they would have played against each other last year, but both for the opposite clubs. He wouldn't be able to use last year's photo for this week's round. He would have had to Photoshop the jumpers back on them. As we see the umpire ball it up again, and Jared Stokes again goes in and gets that ball and gets it out to Jalen Clark. Clark kicks long to centre half forward, and in front. Foster's claiming the mark, but it was clearly off the Palmerston player's hands. He gets his kick forward eventually. McMaster's deep in the pocket in front of Matty Campbell, and if that's the match-up for the rest of the day, that'll be a fantastic contest to watch. It will. Two Centralians going against each other. Matty Campbell played for Pioneer, and Michaelis, I can't remember who he played for. I'm going to have a look at that one. He's, no, I don't know. I'll have to find out who Michaelis played for down there. As we see Patrick Bowles with the ball. Yeah, he's got a free kick here. A throw was the call, so Bowles with the chance to stretch that lead back out again, and of course Paddy Bowles had some some time at NT Thunder and has been a really strong player for Buffaloes for a few seasons now. So kicking from about 30 metres, and looks like he's left that out to the right as well. So another missed opportunity for Darwin Buffaloes there. Lead is 24 points as we're a couple of minutes into time on in this first quarter. Kalis McMasters with the kick-in duties brings it towards the half-back flank on the grandstand side, and off hands and out of bounds.
So Michaelis is from Souths in Alice Springs. As we hear the quarter time siren go, Darwin Buffaloes 4-6-30, leading Palmerston 1 straight goal. Goal kickers for Buffaloes, Joey Collinson, 2 to Jared Stokes and 1 to Brody Foster. And while Nigel Lockyer is the only goal kicker for the Magpies. How did you see that first quarter, Stu? Yeah,
obviously dominated by Darwin Buffaloes. They had the ball camped in their forward line for most of the quarter, and really the one opportunity that Palmerston had, they did manage to score from. So I think Froggy just needs to settle them down, get them organised and get them a bit better structured, and they need to use the ball a bit better. And they're not out of the game, but they certainly need to start making inroads in the second quarter. Yeah, absolutely. You're watching AFLN TV's live coverage of the NTFL season. We'll be back after this short break.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Head on in to Kazali's Palmerston Club. Business meetings, coffee breaks, or just unwinding, Kazali's has you covered. It's the perfect spot for a catch-up with friends, with stylish function areas suitable for any occasion. Sensational meals. Our family-friendly bistro has plenty of delicious options. All the latest machines in our modern gaming room. Get around the pool tables and prove your skills. Fancy a flutter? We've got full betting facilities available. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever bring me
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
come in and see it.
Still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
I've been at 2.5 years now. Started with Thunder Juniors. I think it was just the idea of just getting a run around, just having some fun, and I really like it. So that's all good.
So what's the highest game you've umpired so far?
I've been under 18 boys. I did that a couple of times last year.
Now, would you recommend maybe a couple of friends to come along and umpire with you?
Definitely. I could definitely know a couple of friends who would definitely they could definitely do with coming to umpire, because it definitely does something for you.
What is one rule you'd introduce into the NTFL FK?
Swearing. 50 metres if you swear.
I'd probably say hire some more water boys. Be pretty handy.
What is one thing you admire about an NTFL umpire?
The hot conditions that they have to umpire in, Saturday midday, Sunday midday, it's definitely a huge commitment for a volunteer or someone who doesn't get paid that much.
The junior program, they've got young guys coming in and doing Premier League at a very young age, which is good to see.
I admire about the umpires that they get out there and give it a go. It's not the easiest job in the world, so I really admire that they put up their hands and out there every week working hard.
We can't play without umpires.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium in Darwin for the second quarter of this round 3 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League game between Darwin Buffaloes and Palmerston. At the moment, quarter time, Darwin 4-6-30, leading Palmerston just one straight goal, Stu. It's been Buffaloes in the first quarter.
Yeah, all Buffaloes really, with the field position that they've had and the amount of possession that they've had. But yeah, Palmerston kicked a goal when they had the opportunity, so hopefully they've got themselves sorted a bit better and can work on pegging back this lead.
Yeah, that's right. Palmerston just let themselves down a little bit in the first quarter with their kicking, so hopefully Coach Froggy Davies had a chat to them about that, as we see the ball taken out by Liam Flanagan for Palmerston, just in front of the Buffaloes bench there on the grandstand side.
So, big Matty Dennis in ruck for Palmerston up against Callum Wilson. Stokes on the ground underneath, gets a hand pass to Bowles. He's tackled, and Palmerston now with the chance to break away. Good hands there by Fletcher Wilson, but couldn't take it cleanly. Dennis slaps it forward, and Groves with a quick kick, but offline and out of bounds on the full, unfortunately for him. And it's Ryan Pendlebury who'll take this free kick at half-back for Darwin.
It's just getting a bit dark here. We might see the lights come on soon. The sun's gone down, which I'm sure the players will appreciate as we see Pendlebury's kick hit Bradley Stokes there on the chest.
Stokes is called to play on now. He's had a look a couple of ways, didn't like any of them, and kicks down the line. Wilson used his body against Dennis, couldn't complete the mark, and it spilt to ground and rolled out of bounds. But yeah, I remember Callum Wilson is a really tall, skinny kid. He looks like he's put on a bit of muscle since then, and might be able to match it with Matty Dennis in the physical contests.
By my calculations, he's 24 years old, so yeah, not a skinny kid anymore. As we see Palmerston rebound that football, but the kick's gone straight to a Buffaloes player, and he's put it into Matty Campbell, who's taken a great mark there. Matty, just his experience and using his body against McMaster's there.
Yeah, it was Nick Loudon down here for Buffaloes, got a couple of touches there, and that kick was perfectly out in front of Campbell to his advantage, and he doesn't miss those opportunities, and he'll be ruining the miss that he had in the first quarter, but this one's drifting across the face as well, so hasn't got the accuracy boots on at the moment, and with a strong opponent, he needs to make the most of his opportunities when he can.
Yeah, he hasn't got his kicking boots on just yet, but knowing Matty Campbell, he will soon, as we see Jalen Clark cut that kick in off again. Palmerston making the same mistakes as the first quarter with their trying to get the ball out of defence, Stu.
Yeah. So the ball's at the top of the goal square. Oh, some good strong work again by Loudon. Got the hand pass across. He picks up himself, has a snap round the corner, and he's had a real purple patch in the last couple of minutes with 4 or 5 touches, and that time finishing off himself with a nice goal over the shoulder.
He has, and he's kicked a hard goal there and made it look easy. So it's his first season in the NTFL. He made his Premier League debut last week in round 2. In 2019, he played in the VFL with Casey and North Ringwood Saints in the Eastern Football Netball League, and prior to that, he spent a couple of years with Gippsland Power in the TAC Cup. He's about 6'2" or 3", so he's a pretty good size out there. So about the 3.5 minute mark of the second quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 5-7-37 leading Palmerston, just the one straight goal, Stu.
Yes, and umpire Craig Garland wanders across the circles, has a look around, and he'll get us restarted. Chris Atkinson back in the centre for Buffs doing the ruck work, but Dennis wins this one down. Jared Stokes is first there, gets a toe to it going forward. Some good work running back by Rowan Armstrong for Palmerston, and tackle over the shoulder here, and Flanagan will take that free kick and look to give Palmerston the opportunity to go forward again. Lockyer's pushed underneath that one a bit too easily. Pendlebury is the first to recover out the back, but couldn't keep the ball in play, and we'll have another boundary throw in.
Flanagan's another one who's crossed clubs within the NTFL. He was at St Mary's, but he's gone to Palmerston, where his dad Darren would have coached a few years ago now, Stu.
Was a few years ago, and I think he coached him for about 5 years, and then of course went back to St Mary's and was a under-18s coach, successful under-18s coach there for a number of years. So the ball down here in front of us, in front of the grandstand. Stafford goes one way, then the other, hooks back on the left. Callum Groves gets underneath that one, but it's punched away from him by Pendlebury. Seaton Kernoth hand passes over the top, but straight to Guthrie of Palmerston, into Wilson. Wilson's got Toshi Kernoth out in the pocket. He's got a bit of space if he can pick it up and get around. He does now. Chips at goal, but Timmy Eldridge is working back, but it goes over his head and bounces through for behind for Palmerston Magpies.
Wouldn't have that have been a nice goal for the Magpies? Toshi Kernoth, another Centralian, won best on ground in the grand final down there, the Everingham medal, just a few weeks ago now. So a good player. As we see a free kick to the Darwin Buffaloes. I think he thought it was against him for a minute.
Just a push out there, and Guthrie coming in hard. Oh.
Wow, thought that was going to be a high tackle there, but it went against Tyrell.
So hand pass out the back, and Mackenzie for Buffaloes drives it long inside the corridor, standing strong. Oh. Play on's the call. I think the advantage was paid. Ryan Wharf out in front, takes the ball cleanly on the left foot, drives down towards Toshi Kernoth. Again, he's got some space out in front. Works his way around, chips back in to a teammate under some pressure, but Chris Williams made some good ground, or back between the legs. Pretty smart work, and Stokes back there for Buffaloes clears the ball out of defence. But a chip inboard by Eldridge finds his teammate Bowles just at the back end of the centre square.
Bowles has been busy early this game, but as I say that, he kicks into the man on the mark, and Palmerston have rebounded it there.
Callum Groves stands up in the tackle, gets his hand pass to teammate Thompson, but he was tackled and is penalised for incorrect disposal. Lockie McKenzie chips that one in the air out wide and finds Cale Cossack. Cossack plays on straight away down the outer wing, and that's Collinson out there who takes the mark out in front, swings the ball round, and some good body work by Foster. Got rid of his opponent, took the mark right on the paint of 50, and he's looking for some options, I think. Not much happening, so he goes long now towards the goal square. Matty Dennis is there by himself, but the kick wasn't the best and eluded him. Ball's on the ground now. Some good work in and under there by Armat, but it's Palmerston eventually with the chance to bring it out of defence. Not much on offer here. And eventually a chip inside finds Callum Groves at half back. He plays on straight away to Guthrie. Oh, they've got themselves in trouble again here. Groves has swung around in the tackle. Play on's the call. He did get a hand pass away. And Chester this time, but his kick under pressure has gone out of bounds on the full. So really made a meal of it then, Palmerston. They had the chance to work the ball out and panicked a bit, I think. Or tried to play it on too quickly when it wasn't on.
Yeah, and great delivery there. Thomas Clark now kicks it across to the top of the 50-metre arc, but it's Palmerston who's going to get it, and Matty Dennis mopping up there to try and get the ball run out by Hayden Brown. But it's going to go out of bounds, so yeah, just a bit messy again by Palmerston. They really just need to sort themselves out, I think, Stu.
Yeah, well, they've got a free kick here for deliberate out of bounds, so maybe an opportunity, but they've... Liz looks a bit frustrated next to me.
It's the coach coming out in me. I'm saying, why are they going backwards? So, yeah, they need to get it down into their forward line. We're at the 8.5-minute mark of the second quarter. 5-7-37 to Darwin Buffaloes and 1-1-7 to Magpies.
So, Seaton Kernoth chips it around the corner. Mackenzie hand passes out wide to Collinson. Collinson squares the ball back into the corridor, and easy as you like, Foster's on the end of that one. And Palmerston really weren't very well organised defensively then, and Darwin just picked their target as they liked, and of course no better target than Brody Foster on the end of it from about 35 out, pretty much directly in front.
As we said, 11 goals in the first 2 games, and he's already kicked one today. No, he hasn't kicked one yet. So
yeah, he kicked the first
goal. Kicked the first goal, sorry, my bad. And he's gone back and just, that one's gone off to the right. So another miss. They've had a lot of scoring opportunities, Darwin Buffaloes, and it could well be a bit of a blowout by now, but they've 5 goals, 8-38 so far. So imagine if they kick straight, Stu.
Yeah, exactly right. And some of those have been pretty easy misses, really. So Callum Wilson out there battling hard all by himself. He's done a pretty good job and picks up eventually. Hand passes back inside to Cossack. Cossack's kick, trying to hook it back inside, but didn't get enough on it and slewed off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full.
So Palmerston looking to bring it back into play over near the light tower there, but chopped off again by Buffs.
So yeah, Kopara again out on the outer side for Buffaloes. He chips in short to Seaton Kernoth this time. Seaton Kernoth goes back and into the corridor, and that was Dylan Gordon. And just chipping it around here, working the ball forward. Kevin Moroney out here looking for Jalen Clark. He takes a strong mark overhead. And they've worked the ball from one side of the ground to the other. Haven't made much ground, but have retained possession. And Palmerston are pretty well set up behind the play now as Clark goes in long. Double fist away, but in the meantime, there's a free kick, and it's going to be a Darwin Buffaloes free kick again.
I think that's Matty Campbell who's going to take the free kick. And Jalen Clark, very good last week, Stu, in that win over Crocs, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's always a strong performer for Buffaloes, and it's Kopara, in fact, who's going to take the free kick here. And as we said in the first quarter, he's looked a likely type. He's found his way to where the ball is a fair bit so far in the game, and now an opportunity with a shot on goal. So Kopara's kick, and that one's drifting across the face as well. And I think that's a bit of a trap here at TIO Stadium. Players that aren't used to it, that the breeze comes between the grandstand and the Michael Long Centre there a bit, and just pushes the ball across the goals from this side. So another missed opportunity for Buffaloes, and really Palmerston holding on by the skin of their teeth at the moment. But Elijah Kelly here looking to play on with a hand pass, gets it to Tyrell Louis, and who eventually makes some space and kicks long towards Matty Dennis, but that one's chopped off. And Chris Atkinson.
Palmerston just can't get it past the centre square, can they, Stu?
No.
They just haven't got many options there at the moment.
No, and you know, obviously they're trying to stop the bleeding, and they've all worked back, so they're pretty stacked up in defence. And when they do try to move the ball forward, they haven't got many options. And big Matty Dennis was there by himself, but the kick couldn't hit him. But anyway, the chance to bring it out. Sandy Brock there gets caught with the ball. It falls to ground. Elijah Kelly lost it, and now a quick hit out of them, but again, it's the numbers are with Darwin, and Tim Eldridge, as usual, across half-back, tidies up and kicks out wide to Jackson Clark.
Yeah, very good player is Tim Eldridge. We speak pretty much every week about how courageous he is, and he's just controlling the midfield there for Buffaloes as they work the ball across, and it's going to end up with Dylan Gordon again and switch sides to the grandstand side, and Kevin Moroney, who was his birthday a couple of days ago. Kevin, happy birthday. But good fist away there by Flanagan.
So hand pass back inside by Hodder. Gordon again, and Thomas Clark. Hand passes inboard to Mackenzie. Mackenzie's caught with the ball. Play on's the call. Probably a bit unlucky there, Groves, and might have hurt himself in that tackle, or he's just lost his boot. But anyway, the ball's at half forward for Buffaloes now, and comes out here. Quick hands to Jalen Clark. He's caught with the ball, tries to punch it forward. Jared Stokes picks up, hooks around on the left foot. This looks pretty
Jared
good.
Stokes.
And that's swung back on the breeze, and he judged it perfectly on the left foot, so he kicks his third goal for the game. And Buffalo's really starting to dominate on the scoreboard as well as on the ground now. They
are. Well, 16 scoring shots to just the 2 for Palmerston. It's the 14-minute mark of the second quarter. Darwin Buffaloes 6-10-46, leading Palmerston 7 points. And Jared Stokes just a class player, and we've seen him time and time again do that fancy footwork. Comes from a rugby background. His family, his dad Frank played NRL. So yeah, that really good sidestepping movement to get around his player and kick that goal. As we see the umpire take it back to the middle, 14.5-minute mark of the second quarter.
Umpire Brodie Morecambe throws the ball up. Dennis with a roundhouse punch, punches it forward. Towed off the ground there by John Harvey for Palmerston. Oh, that's better build up. Chris Williams kicks long to the goal square. Stafford's there, takes the mark and walks in, kicks the goal from about half a metre out, and a much needed response from Palmerston there. And it all started in the middle where they won the clearance, worked the ball well, and some of their big names in Dennis and Williams were involved, and down to Stafford in the goal square, who worked his opponent under the ball and took full advantage.
Yeah, great work there, and it only took 15 seconds for that goal to be scored, so that's all it takes to score a goal. Well done, Daniel Stafford. So just over the 15-minute mark of the second quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 6-10-46, leading Palmerston Magpies 2-1-13. Daniel Stafford, of course, played for Darwin Buffaloes last season, so yeah, his first up game against his old team. He'll be happy to get one on the board. Umpire Howarth gets us started again. Matty Dennis hooks this one over the top, but it's Loudon there with first hands on the ball, got his hand pass out, but it's caught in and underneath. John Harvey doing some work underneath, but it's Cossack for the Buffaloes who gets the ball forward eventually. Dennis picks up and hand passes out wide, looking for Liam Flanagan here, taps the ball in front of himself, and again does that pretty well. Toshi Kernoth picks up, but he's tackled straight away by Loudon. And the crowd don't like it, but holding the ball is the decision. He chips in short, but working back there was Harvey, got a hand to the ball, and now Elijah Kelly, for Buffaloes drives it forward. Here's a chance now. Oh, Lockyer saw his teammate there in Wharf, gets a hand pass back into Jack Berry. He fumbles it, and he's in all sorts of trouble back to Wharf. Oh, my goodness.
Wharf snaps it round the goal. Straight out of the copybook, that one, Liz.
Wow, I didn't know what was going to happen there. Well done, Ryan Wharf, to maintain some composure and kick that goal. I didn't think it was going to go through there for a minute, but a much-needed goal for Palmerston. So that's their third goal. So at the 17-minute mark, Darwin Buffaloes 6-10-46, leading Palmerston Magpies 3-1-19, and Magpies have now strung 2 in a row together, Stu.
Yeah, and you saw in the lead up to that, Nigel Lockyer just picked the ball up in traffic, had a look, great vision, and saw Wharf by himself, and should have been an easy handball over the top and walk into the goal, but Jack Berry messed it up a bit, but still had the presence of mind to recover and get the ball back to Wharf, and they got the goal in the end.
Well, he's a Palmerston junior, Ryan Wharf, and he was a Rising Star nominee a couple of seasons ago. He works at the Palmy Pool. I see him there from time to time. He's a lifeguard, so he's a Palmy local through and through.
Collinson hands it off to Jared Stokes running through half forward. He kicks it out in front of Matty Campbell, and again, perfect delivery. Campbell wraps the ball up, uses his body well, protects the space and takes the mark on the chest out in front of Michaelis McMasters. And Campbell, who's had a set shot from here earlier in the quarter and dragged it across the face, will be looking to go a bit better with this effort. And
it's going to go through, Matty Campbell.
Yeah, look, it started that one left, and obviously has done his homework on what the wind effect is having on the ball down there, and drew it back in nicely. So an answering goal after Palmerston had kicked 2 in a row.
Yeah, he sure did. He's kicked a few behinds, but hopefully for Buffs fans, he's got his kicking boots on now as the runner, Mikey Coombs, gives him a pat on the head. Beautiful mark. He's got fantastic skills, Matty Campbell. He was an AFL player, as we know, and certainly magical player to watch. So just coming up to the 19-minute mark of the second quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 7-10-52, leading Palmerston 3-1-19 here at TIO Stadium. You're watching the AFL NTV coverage today.
Quick hands by Williams to Guthrie, and Guthrie picks it up eventually, drives long, looking for Stafford. Stafford on the end of this one. Does he mark it? Yes, he's had enough of it, the umpire said, and he'll take the kick from about 20 out. Plays on straight away now, hooks around the corner. Looks good, and it is good for his second goal. And again, a goal in about 15 or 20 seconds from the restart, and that seems to be their best opportunity to score, is when they get that clearance and get the ball in quickly. And they've got, as we've said all night, they've got the talent down there in Stafford and Lockyer, and Dennis rests down there as well. So if they can get the ball in quickly, they give themselves an opportunity.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Stu. Just the key to getting that centre clearance and getting the ball down there really quickly. So Daniel Stafford, another Centralian, a big off-season recruit for Palmerston, coming from Buffaloes. So he still plays for Mount Ellen in the CAFL Community Comp, and he's a dual Minahan medalist, which is the CAFL best and fairest. So he certainly knows how to play, as we see Palmy push that forward, but Timmy Eldridge gets it, and it gets out to Jalen Clark on the wing there, and Ryan Wharf chasing him hard, but Jared Stokes just puts the muscle on, and Jalen Clark can get his kick away.
So it's at half forward for Buffaloes now, picked up there by Kopara. He kicks it out in front of Campbell, diving effort, but couldn't take it that time. And Palmerston the opportunity to mop up. Berry out to Guthrie. Guthrie goes long on the left foot, looking for Groves, but that one's off target, and Seaton Kernoth chipped in. He played on straight away, and now at Palmerston with the opportunity, it's John Harvey out there, but a free kick to Seaton Kernoth. He switches the ball back inside the corridor, or Jared Stokes just took his eye off it at the end, but recovered well, kicks forward, and Foster in all sorts of space by himself. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, he just lost Sandy Brock there, and they turned it over there.
Yeah, again, a bit of a lazy effort from Lockie McKenzie, but a poor kick out of defence once again by Palmerston, and this one's out on the full, and it's a Darwin Buffaloes free kick to Adam Hodder. Hodder goes high, deep inside, forward 50. Ball comes to ground in front of the pack. Picked up there by Jalen Clark through traffic. It's off a couple of bodies going through. Overrunning the ball back there was Tyrell Louis. Ball on the, strong bump there. That was Thomas Clark on the end of that, and I think that's caught him high, and he'll take the free kick. Looks okay.
His brother Jalen picking him up. He's not as tall as Jalen. He's a lot shorter, and a very, very good rugby player, as we've said. Very good junior footballer too, in the under-18s competition, and loves a goal. So let's see if Thomas can put this one through in his first game for the season.
So kicked a couple of goals on debut from memory last year, but that's again not a terrific finish, and he dragged that to the left, and so
His mum, Letitia, will be cheering up in the stand as she does every week. She's a very dedicated Buff supporter, and they were down here earlier today watching the Buffs women who went down to St Mary's, and a fantastic game of football. And the Buffs women's coach is Chris Atkinson, who's out there rucking for the Buffs now. So good work for Chris to back it up and coach the women's team.
Dylan Gordon drives
Matty
it
Campbell
long.
again.
Campbell again on the end of it. Plays on straight away this time. Hooks around the corner. He likes it. He high fives with a few teammates and tells a couple of opponents all about it. And Darwin Buffalo's really flexing their muscles now and really push that lead out to 34 points, I think that is now. And Palmerston have got a lot of work to do to work their way back into this game now.
They have, and Matty loves a yap and he enjoys a goal. So, yeah, well done to Matty Campbell. Coming up to the 23-minute mark of the second quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 8-11, 59, leading Palmerston Magpies 4-1-25. As we said, it's CFS gear umpiring round. So, in a nod to our umpires today, it's great to see them out there in the green. The youngest umpire in the NTFL is 12 years old, and the oldest field umpire is 78, Stu. How's that for a fact?
Unbelievable.
I'll be doing well if I'm even walking at 78, so that's a fair effort. As we see Palmy get it inside their 50-metre zone, Stafford and Gordon having a good battle down there.
Dylan Gordon toes it out in front of himself and picks up now, hand passes forward, and Buffaloes work the ball well out of defence this time. Mackenzie hand passes over the top to Collinson. Jackson Clark's run hard, gets on the end. He hand passes forward as well. And now bowls with the squaring kick back into the corridor between full forward and centre half forward. Towed off the ground. Thomas Clark's in there. Cleverly takes the ball and gets a hand pass over the top. Shot on goal is offline to the near side. And a minor score once again.
Rounding Darwin Buffalo's score out to 60, leading Palmerston, who are 25, as we see the kids down there at the Michael Long centre end just running and get the ball there for Elijah Kelly, who's going to take the kick in for Palmerston Magpies. Oh no, he's going to give it to Michaelis. McMasters again. Must be nearly half-time, Stu, won't be far away.
McMaster's kick goes wide to the outer side. And John Harvey was on the end of that, hooked it round the corner, hoiked it down towards the wing. Matty Dennis out in front. He's got a couple of opponents there, and ball out of bounds was probably as good a result as he could have hoped for in the end.
Absolutely. He was on two players then, Matty Dennis, and for such a big man to be able to get down on the ground and, force it out to the line, he's done very well.
So just round from the TIO Stadium scoreboard as the half-time siren goes, and again, Darwin have extended that lead. Palmerston managed to score 3 goals for the quarter and had some promising moments, but by and all, Buffaloes really have dominated possession again and kicked 4 goals for the quarter, but again could have been a lot more, and the margin could have been greater. So although it doesn't look very healthy for Palmerston at the moment, I think Darwin have probably just left the door open slightly for them.
Yeah, absolutely. A much better quarter for the Magpies, kicking 3 goals. Their goal kickers so far, Ryan Wharf, Nigel Lockyer and 2 to Daniel Stafford, while for the Buffaloes, Joey Collinson, Jared Stokes with 3, Brody Foster and Nicholas Loudon with 1 apiece, and Matty Campbell with 2. We'll take a short break for half-time, and we'll see you all back soon on the AFLN TV live stream.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Absolutely 0.
0.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be 0.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
Domestic violence is everybody's business.
And it's not just the physical abuse, it's the things we don't see.
It is hurting our families. It is killing our families.
A lot of people have been silent,
to this fact, and I think it's about time we all speak up together and say no more to this form of abuse.
No more.
No more. No more family violence.
No more to the family violence.
No more. No more.
No more!
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
On territory roads, anything can happen. So you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble. All sorts of animals can be on the road, so watch out. And if the weather is bad, slow down, you mob. Drive to the conditions and arrive in good condition.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital, television production, energised.
I've been about 2.5 years now, started with Thunder Juniors. I think it was just the idea of just getting a run around, just having some fun, and I really like it, so that's all good.
So what's the highest game you've umpired so far?
I've been under 18 boys. I did that a couple of times last year.
Now, would you recommend maybe a couple of friends to come along and umpire with you?
Definitely. I could definitely know a couple of friends who would definitely, they could definitely do with coming to umpire, because it definitely does something for you.
What is one rule you would introduce into the NTFL FK?
Swearing. 50 metres if you swear.
I'd probably say hire some more water boys. Be pretty handy.
What is one thing you admire about an NTFL umpire?
The hot conditions that they have to umpire in, Saturday midday, Sunday midday, it's definitely a huge commitment for a volunteer or someone who doesn't get paid that much.
The junior program, they got young guys coming in and doing Premier League at a very young age, which is good to see.
I admire about the umpires that they get out there and give it a go. It's not the easiest job in the world, so I really admire that they put up their hands and out there every week working hard.
We can't play without umpires.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal for all school-related activities. 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact CFS Gear for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors for the 2021 TIO NTFL season. For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium in Darwin for round 3 of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League competition. We've got Darwin Buffaloes and Palmerston Magpies playing in tonight's game. Liz Cruz and Stu Davis here in the commentary box. It's been all Buffaloes in the first half, Stu.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing as a contest so far. I came into the game with expectation of a great game, but Palmerston just been off the pace a bit as we were speaking at half time, Liz. They just looked a little bit slow, a little bit off the pace, but fortunately for them, Darwin have been a bit wayward in front of goal, and as I said, going into the half-time break, maybe just left the door a little bit ajar for them if they can get up and running in this third quarter.
Yeah, much better second quarter by Palmerston, so let's hope they can keep going with that as Maddie Dennis wins the ruck with a big hit out there.
Rowan Armstrong coming in strongly off the wing, eventually gets a hand pass, and now the chance to go forward. It's Fletcher Wilson who drives them forward, but couldn't complete the mark at the back, and Darwin work it out of defence. And eventually it's Cossack who takes the mark at half back. And his kick's half smothered off the mark, but he recovers himself to take possession, gets a hand pass to Seaton Kernoth. He hooks it high down here. Atkinson under this. Lockyer coming over the top, but Jared Stokes bursting through. Takes a bounce, kicks inside 50. Campbell out in front, stretching, just couldn't hold on to it. Flanagan swings back on the left foot and finds Lockyer at half-back here for Palmerston in front of the grandstand. He chips the ball back inside the corridor. Big Jack Berry there couldn't pick it up. Thomas Clark forces it forward as he's pushed in the back by Josh Philo, and it's Clark who will take the free kick just forward of centre. Chips it out wide to his brother Jalen Clark. And as the ball works down towards half forward, and Jalen Clark goes in high and long, and claiming the mark back there was Hayden Brown, not paid, and eventually it's forced out over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah, promising start for Palmerston, but they just couldn't, Toshi Kernoth I think it was, just couldn't hold on to that mark, and it's down in the Buffs forward line already as we see the umpire throw it in. And of course it is CFS gear umpiring round, so big thank you to all our umpires this weekend across the NTFL games. As we see Lockie McKenzie kick that, but it's just missed for a minor. So that's the first score of the third quarter. Darwin Buffaloes 8-13-61 leading Palmerston Magpies 4-1-25. Stu.
So Michaelis McMasters clears the ball out of defence for Palmerston out in front of the St Mary's clubhouse out there. Tyrell Louis breaks the tackle, gets a hand pass across to Kobe Anand, and eventually Palmerston work it out of defence. All the players up the ground now. There's no one behind where the ball is right now, and holding the ball decision against Palmerston there, and Jack Berry was the player who gave away the free kick, but Jackson Clark out there, his kick out towards the scoreboard, and Joey Collinson gets on the end of it and takes the mark. He drives the ball down that outer side. Foster in front, runs underneath it, might have got a bit of a nudge, but play on's the call. Tyrell Louis picks up, he's under some pressure now, kicks back into the corridor to his captain Dennis, who looked like he wanted to play on, but hands it back off to Louis now. And he finds McMasters coming out of defence. Goes straight up the middle of the ground now. They've got some space here. Hand pass comes inboard, and it's Guthrie. Guthrie on the left foot. That's not the best option, I don't think, but still an opportunity for Kernoth down there. He's got outnumbered. Now the chance, as Chester was on the end of that one, but again, plenty of numbers around the ball. The ball's on the ground, and eventually umpire Garland says, we'll try a restart, about 25 out from the Palmerston goal.
Yeah, just not the right option, as you said there. Daniel Stafford calling for the ball. He was a bit frustrated that it didn't hit him, but Palmerston have still got the ball down there and need to make the most of the opportunity, as we see a free kick awarded to the Magpies, so this could be it, Stu.
Yeah, it is Daniel Stafford, and he's got two already. We know that he's an excellent goal kicker, good finisher, and you would expect him to convert this one for Palmerston and give them that start that we were talking about them needing early in the third quarter.
He kicked a lot of goals last season. He threatened for the Dennis Dunn trophy there for a little bit until he got injured. As we go back, he goes back straight through. Daniel Stafford for his third goal and first goal of the third quarter for Palmerston, a much needed goal. So coming up to the 4.5 minute mark of the third quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 8-13-61 to Palmerston 5-1-31, and the Magpies will be happy they got the first score on the board, Stu.
Yeah, well, that's more promising. In the first two quarters, Darwin have been able to get the first couple of goals of the quarter, and it's just blown the margin out a bit. But Palmerston scoring the first one here in the third quarter and narrowing that margin back to 30 points, and we still got a ball game.
In the other games today, we saw obviously St Mary's beat Tiwi, but Waratahs have just pipped Crocs out there at Norbuilt Oval by a couple of points, Stu. So Nightcliff and Wanderers coming up next.
Yeah, we were having a look at the live stream at half time with the last couple of minutes of that game, and Crocs looked like they were going to hold on, and Tars just got a goal with a couple of minutes to go. But anyway, the action's here at TIO Stadium. And it's McMaster's out in front of Collinson. He runs the ball over the boundary line. Collinson says, "Is that deliberate, umpire?" And of course the umpire's correct and says, "No, it's not," and we'll have a boundary throw in. So, so Southern District's still winless after 3 rounds, which is unusual territory for them, and be pretty frustrating for new coach Matty Cannard. But on the flip side, Ryan Ayres would be pretty happy to have a couple of wins at the start of the season, and running Nightcliff close last week as well, so they look to be in good shape for the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure Abe Ankers was a star for them today. Abe's been up here for a few weeks now, normally flies in from Alice Springs, so I'm sure having him here in town consistently for a few weeks has been massive for Waratahs, as we see the umpire about to throw the ball in right underneath the scoreboard here at TIO Stadium in Darwin. It's Darwin Buffaloes leading the Palmerston Magpies by 30 straight points.
Matt Dennis gets first hand to that one, and ball ricochets inside the pack. It's shovelled out the back and slung around, and strong tackle there. Play on's the call. Another tackle. It's just going from one pack to another at the moment, and ball's caught in underneath Eric Guthrie, and a restart again. Ball comes over the back, but it was Philo on the bottom of that one. Eventually it spills out, and Palmerston the chance through. Guthrie again breaks a tackle, kicks down inside forward 50. Big Jack Berry comes out and gets on the end of that one and takes the mark in the hands out in front, and he'll go back. He's
he's in two minds.
Thought about passing off, and then changed his mind when he saw that his teammate was pretty well covered down there. Jalen Clark working hard defensively to get back and chop that opportunity off. So Jack Berry now has settled himself down and will take the shot at goal. Runs over the line of inside 50 now. The kick looks pretty strong. It's going right down to the goal line.
Oh, Stafford. That's going to be a free kick right in the goal square.
Yeah, he's pretty slow getting up, but came in from the side across the front of the pack and just hit the ground pretty hard. I think there was no real malice in the body contact. I think his legs probably got taken away from underneath him a bit, and he's hit the ground pretty hard. But he's a big boy, big strong boy. I'm sure he'll get up, and with a kick from about 5 metres out, he'd be keen to have a go at getting his 4th goal on the board. But having said that, he is moving pretty slowly right now.
Yeah, it's good to see the Darwin Buffaloes trainer Candice Liddy out there giving a helping hand, a very experienced sports trainer. Pretty sure she's a physio as well, but yep, Stafford's up, and looks like he's going to go back and take his kick. He's kicked 3 so far today, and this would be super handy for the Palmerston Magpies to get back into the game.
Gee, I hope he can stay on his feet long enough to kick it. He's
looking a bit wobbly there, Daniel Stafford. But he kicks it through for his 4th goal, and Palmerston Magpies' 6th goal a much-needed one as his whole team gets around him, and great work there by Daniel Stafford. So 9-minute mark of the third quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 8-13-61, leading Palmerston 5-1-31, and Daniel Stafford, I think is he going to go off and have a rest, or is he going to... I think he wants to stay on, but I think he needs to go and have a rest, Stu.
Yeah, he's walking slowly towards the boundary line, so I don't imagine that he'll... No, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, Palmerston have kicked the first 2 goals of the third quarter and really given themselves an opportunity now to challenge Darwin Buffaloes, who held a pretty handy lead at half-time, and Callum Wilson's gone into the ruck and against Big Jack Berry there, but it's Williams for Palmerston again, drives the ball forward down towards the top of the goal square. Eldridge again working hard underneath. There's trainers and runners everywhere in front of us here, but a quick kick around the corner is going to bounce through, and I think it was Matt Dennis who kicked that one. That was never going through for a goal, and it's bounced at right angles, and the desperate Darwin defence just couldn't get to it, and it's bounced through. So what a start to the third quarter for Palmerston with the opening 3 goals, and in the first 10 minutes, and Darwin have got the wobbly boots on a bit, I think, Liz. And
they have, and Daniel Stafford's got the wobbly boots on. He did actually make it to the bench then, but what a fantastic kick by Matty Dennis to get that out while he's being tackled, and it just bounced in the goal square and through for a goal. A bit of a fresh airy there by his teammate, but fantastic Matty Dennis. And they were 35 points down at half-time, and they've chipped that away to just 18 points. Darwin Buffaloes 8-13-61, leading Palmerston 7-1-43. In what has been an interesting start to the third quarter, Stu.
It has, and that's a free kick to... It looked like a holding the ball free kick, but it's not. In fact, it must have been a free kick off the ball to Darwin, and it's Adam Hodder who chips it out here to Callum Wilson, and Wilson just settles things down. There's plenty of players in front of him, and that's not his best effort. Guthrie was there, picked up and swung around, was Armstrong. Now it's Flanagan for Palmerston.
Terrible kick, Flanagan off the side of the boot.
Just off balance as he kicked, and kicked it out on the full. So Lockie McKenzie down in front of the grandstand here. Chips it in short, looking for Jackson Clark. Guthrie came in late, but Clark was good enough to wrap it up and take the mark. Just a bit stop-start Buffaloes at the moment. And kicks down the line out in front of Foster. That ball's punched away. Hand pass comes inboard, and now Palmerston again through Lockyer, who kicks long out of defence. And Toshi Kernoth underneath that, gets his toe to the ball now. Ryan Wharf picks up, hand passes backwards. He's got a teammate there in Harvey. Harvey's kick's not the best, and it's Kernoth out there first, shrugs the tackle. No, he doesn't. He gets caught with the ball, and in fact the tackle slid down his legs, I think, and he's receiving the free kick. Chips back inside to Guthrie now, back in the centre square. He drives long, looking for Dennis on the lead, diving out in front, traps the ball and gets a hand pass back inside, and Darwin eventually worked the ball out of defence. Clark with a chip kick, looking for Jared Stokes. He's tackled straight away, gets his hand pass out.
Nuts ball, Jared Stokes. You don't see that too often. Well done, Palmerston. They've had all the momentum at the start of this third quarter, and they've been rewarded there with a free kick to Rowan Armstrong.
Yes, and Armstrong's been pretty busy in this third quarter as he now kicks deep into the forward pocket, and the ball off hands eventually bounces over the boundary line for a throw-in.
We're just coming up past the 13-minute mark, Stu. I don't think we saw this happening after a bit of a lacklustre Palmerston first half, so it's great to have the contest now.
It certainly is, and Darwin have only been able to score the one behind so far in this quarter, kicking with the breeze, but Palmerston have been full of running, which they had none of in the first quarter. Matty Dennis picks that one up, kicks it forward. Chopped off down there by Dylan Gordon, who gets the kick outside the defensive 50. Flanagan hand passed it back to Armstrong, who was caught with the ball. It spilled out. Lockie McKenzie eventually now, and he's tackled with the ball. And that's Armstrong again, and he's been really impressive in this third quarter.
Super impressive there by Rowan Armstrong, second and third efforts. And he's going to take his kick on the left, but he kicks into the man on the mark. And then there's a bit going on behind play, so I think he might actually get a free kick there. And
downfield, I'd say.
He's going to have it again, but he's actually been injured in that tackle by Lockie McKenzie, who just held on to him for far too long, and it was unnecessary.
So Farlow drives it in towards the top of the goal square. A marking contest there. And
he's paid it to Buffs.
Paid it to Dylan Gordon, who was the man behind on that occasion. It chips it out to Loudon. Loudon comes inboard here, and it's Moroney goes. Oh, it's Pendlebury out there. Hand passes over the top, and Buffalo's trying to work it out of defence, not too smoothly, but eventually the long kick comes forward. But again, they've been penalised here for just a bit too physical off the ball, and nudged Brown, I think it is, under it, and he'll take the free kick out on the outer wing. Tries the ball down the wing. Jumping early there was Dylan Gordon, but good work by Dennis. Got it out to a teammate. Philo hand passes it forward to Fletcher Wilson. Ball out in front now, but good body work there by Stokes. Bradley Stokes kicks it back, and Loudon's caught with the ball. Eventually gets a quick kick out, but that one's chopped off by McMasters. He chips inboard dangerously. Ball's thumped forward for Palmerston, but it's Buffalo's working out. It slipped out of the hands of Thomas Clark there. And now it's picked up by Chester. He hand passes forward, not to anyone in particular. Lockie McKenzie picks it up and hand passes out wide. And another free kick off the ball here, and it'll be a Buffalo's free kick this time. So no advantage there. The ball will come back. It'll come to Jackson Clark. And he'll take the free kick just outside defensive 50 for Darwin Buffaloes. So 16 minutes into this third quarter. Buffaloes just the one behind for the quarter so far. Palmerston 3 goals. And kicks out to the outer wing. And over, and another boundary throw in front of the TIO Stadium scoreboard.
Well, a much better endeavour in this third quarter by Palmerston Magpies to outscore Buffaloes well and truly so far, as we see Matty Dennis winning that ruck tap again, Palmerston clearing it out, and that is Tyrell Louis who's going to have that kick into his attacking zone.
Forward 50 out in front, a strong mark. That's Jack Barry again out in front, and he needed to take that mark. He had 3 Darwin defenders around him. He chips the ball back across looking for Guthrie there, but he was outnumbered as well. And Jalen Clark shows a bit of toe and runs away from Kernoth, takes a bounce, kicks down this wing out in front of Kapara it was, but he couldn't take the mark out in front, and it goes out of bounds. And,
well done there by Jalen Clark, the one-handed pick-up, and backed himself to run that ball out of defence for his team. Get it up there towards their attacking zone as Jared Stokes shimmies and shakes and gets it in to Matty Campbell, but he couldn't mark the ball there.
So Tyrell Louis picks up hand passes across. Brown gets the hand pass forward. Campbell still hassling down there and diving in there, the Palmerston defender, but it's Cossack with the chance for Buffaloes. He kicks the ball forward. Over the top, mark not paid. Play on's the call. Wrapped up in the tackle was Kapara, and that eventually spills out. Still a chance to score here for Buffaloes. The kick smothered, falls in the hands of McKenzie, and McKenzie drills it through from a couple of metres out. So Buffalo's first goal for the quarter, a much needed one after Palmerston hit back hard with the first 3 goals of the quarter, and it wasn't the cleanest football you'll see, but they'll be happy to have the goal on the board just to relieve the pressure a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Lockie McKenzie's first goal of the game, which takes the score to 9-13-67, leading Palmerston 7-1-43 here at TIO Stadium in Darwin. We're just coming up past the 18.5-minute mark, and as we said, it's been all Palmerston this quarter, but just that goal by Buffaloes gives them a bit more of a lead again, Stu, after their fantastic first half.
Yeah, just a bit of breathing space. It was down to 3 goals and now 4 as we approach time on in this third quarter. But Palmerston have really given us the contest we were hoping for coming in, and Thompson gets the clearance, drives forward through the hands of Sandy Brock there, and gee, wouldn't have been handy to have a mark then, but they've still got numbers around the ball, working on it. Stafford's back out there. He's at the bottom of the pack now. Picked up by Williams, who quickly kicks forward. That's going towards the boundary line and bounces over in front of Dylan Gordon, the Buffaloes defender, and in the left forward pocket at the Michael Long centre end. Palmerston's attacking end in this third quarter, and an opportunity here perhaps for them to hit the scoreboard again, but it's Buffaloes bowls in defence. Dennis out in front, spills that one off his chest. Stokes working in and under again, gets tackled. The ball spills out to Cossack. Cossack clears for Buffaloes down this wing, but Brown strong in front, takes the chest mark, and he hand passes off to McMasters now, who chips it out to Lockyer on the grandstand wing.
Well, a positive for Palmerston is they have kept Brody Foster to just the 1 goal. He's kicked 11 goals in 2 games so far this season, so that's a good positive as well for Palmerston, Stu.
It is, and Palmerston going forward again through Flanagan. He drives the ball long, looking for the big fella Berry again, gets his hands to the ball, taps it down in front. Stafford picks it up, does the roving work there, but now loses control of the ball. And that's holding the ball was an interesting decision. Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to be anyone around him then, but anyway.
Umpire must have seen something we didn't, Stu, over there.
It's a long way away from us.
It is.
So the chip comes in to Seaton Kernoth. He plays on and looking to go down the corridor now. McMasters working his way across, gets there first, and hand passes. He's tackled. Thompson swings it out wide again, and Flanagan out there in plenty of space, taps the ball on the ground, runs on now, kicks down looking for Brock, but it's gone over his head, and Buffaloes work it out with some numbers out there, and the mark's taken by Hodder. And Hodder just settles things down for Buffaloes, just backward of centre on towards the outer side, or chip pass across to Pendlebury. Didn't look that good, but hit the target. And another one that's going to miss the target here. Dylan Gordon's got a bit of space though and hooks it wide out here, and Bradley Stokes on the end of this one gets the hand pass inboard, and Eldridge coming out of defence. In fact, it was Maloney, and Thomas dropped the mark now.
Nigel Lockyer makes it look so easy there, and has hit Chris Williams, but he's put the ball down. But he's good enough to get it up again and kick it in to Daniel Stafford, who's back on the ground.
Double fister there from Dylan Gordon. And now it's Hodder again for Darwin with another high kick. McMasters stands in the way as the ball gets tapped into his foot. Dennis doing the hard work on the ground. He's tackled by Jalen Clark, and he's going to be pinged, I think, here, holding the ball. And a bit unfortunate for the big fella there doing the hard work on the ground, but Clark hand passes across to Mackenzie. Mackenzie goes long looking for Campbell. Ball spills over the back, and Campbell there with young Elijah Kelly, and ball bounces out of bounds at right half forward for the Darwin Buffaloes. 22.5 minutes into the third quarter here at TIO Stadium.
And well done to Palmerston. Apart from that 1 goal, they have really shut Buffaloes down, but late in the third quarter it's Buffs who've got it in their forward line, so they'll want to stop any scoring opportunity here.
Joey Collinson gets a hand pass across. That's almost a throw from Thomas Clark, but play on's the call. Cossack's caught with the ball. It spills out, comes back now to Mackenzie. Mackenzie chips short, finds a teammate there in Loudon, and Loudon steadies things down and will go back and take the shot at goal. So I think a bit lucky in a couple of those tackles there, but had the composure to use the ball at half forward, and good delivery there by Lockie Mackenzie. Found Loudon in a bit of space, about 40 out from goal, and he's taking the set shot now just over the paint of 50. Kicks on its way, and distance is no problem, and it's on line, so a relieving goal there for Buffs. They've kicked the last 2 now, so all of that work that Palmerston did at the start of the quarter to work their way back into the game is just starting to unravel a bit with a couple of goals to Darwin Buffaloes.
Yeah, second goal there for the game for Nicholas Loudon in his second game, and you could just see the more experienced players like your Jalen Clarks and Matty Campbell just telling all the Buffaloes to, just settle it down and take their time when they did get the ball into their attack. So, yeah, well done to Darwin Buffaloes there. So the 24-minute mark of the third quarter, Darwin Buffaloes 10-13-73, leading Palmerston Magpies 43, so back out to 30 points after getting as close as 18 points earlier in the quarter, Stu.
Yeah, so Berry wins that hit out over Wilson. Ryan Wharf gets on the end of it, hooks the hand pass across. Reeves receives it back. He's under some pressure now, but good enough to evade that one. Goes straight down the middle of the ground, and he hits Toshi Kernoth out in front, about 40 out, and some good ball movement there. And Ryan Wharf's delivery inside forward 50 was perfect to Kernoth out in front in some space. And the siren goes, and this is an important kick for Kernoth and Palmerston. A goal here, and they're still right in the game. So his kick's on the way now. Goal umpire makes a bit of ground, and that in fact didn't reach the behind line in the end. So no score with that kick after the siren, and it's Darwin who have had their lead narrowed a bit in that third quarter, but still a pretty handy 30-point margin, Liz.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said, it got as close as 3 goals there after being 35 points at halftime. So a much improved Palmerston Magpies in the third quarter. We're going to take a short break and be back for the last quarter. Don't go away.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Head on in to Kazali's Palmerston Club. Business meetings, coffee breaks, or just unwinding, Kazali's has you covered. It's the perfect spot for a catch-up with friends, with stylish function areas suitable for any occasion. Sensational meals. Our family-friendly bistro has plenty of delicious options. All the latest machines in our modern gaming room. Get around the pool tables and prove your skills. Fancy a flutter? We've got full betting facilities available. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
So we can feel, forever yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing can ever bring me down. Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience. Dedicated sports zones. Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store. Now open at Casuarina Square.
I'll be about 2.5 years now. Started with Thunder Juniors. I think it was just the idea of just getting a run around, just having some fun, and I really like it. So that's all good.
So what's the highest game you've umpired so far?
I've been under 18 boys. I did that a couple of times last year.
Now, would you recommend maybe a couple of friends to come along and umpire with you?
definitely. I could definitely know a couple of friends who would definitely, they could definitely do with coming to umpire because it definitely does something for you.
What is one rule you'd introduce into the NTFL FK?
Swearing. 50 metres if you swear. I'd probably say hire some more water boys. Be pretty handy.
What is one thing you admire about umpires?
The hot conditions that they have to umpire in, Saturday midday, Sunday midday, it's definitely a huge commitment for a volunteer or someone who doesn't get paid that much.
The junior program, they got young guys coming in and doing Premier League at a very young age, which is good to see.
I admire about the umpires that they get out there and give it a go. It's not the easiest job in the world, so I really admire that they put up their hands and out there every week working hard.
We can't play without umpires.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Well, welcome back to TIO Stadium in Darwin for the final quarter of this game, Darwin Buffaloes versus Palmerston. It's Buffs by 30 points at the final change. Liz Cruz and Stu Davis here in the commentary box. Stu, a much better quarter for Palmerston that quarter.
Yeah, well, the third quarter gave us the contest we'd been looking for, and we were hopeful that that was going to transform into a close result at the end of the game. But Buffaloes just steadied with the last couple of goals of the quarter and stripped that lead back out to 30 points. So Palmerston have got it all to do in the last quarter, but at least I think that Alwyn Davey would be a bit happier with their endeavour in that third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's CFS gear umpiring this round. So Brodie Morecambe throwing it up there in the middle as we see Jared Stokes get that ball straight into the Buffs forward line.
Good defensive work there by Hayden Brown, who's been pretty good all night down there, and he hacked it out of defence, but Timmy Eldridge again on the end of this one, ducks around one opponent, gets a hand pass forward, receives it back now under some pressure, throws it on the boot and trickles it forward, but McMaster's out in front, gets a hand pass over the top there to Stafford a long way down the ground. Ball comes down in the vicinity of Pendlebury and Berry, but neither of them could get to it before it bounced out of bounds over in the St Mary's forward pocket of the TIO Stadium.
McMasters has had a lot of the ball today, Stu. I've been happy with his game and had a good battle there early with Matty Campbell. Yeah, look, he impresses me every time I see him. He works really hard in defence and gives them a bit of drive out of defence as well. But this time it's Buffaloes coming out of defence. It's Cossack who kicks high down towards half forward. Plenty of numbers for Palmerston back there, and the sweeping hand pass looking for McMasters again. Cleverly taps it on to Lockyer. Lockyer with a long hand pass looking for Flanagan. Tapped it out in front of himself. Gets it up to Wharf now. Wharf is tackled as soon as he takes possession. Lockie McKenzie laying all over the top of him, and the umpire calls for a ball up. Umpire Howarth this time, just getting things organised for the restart. Matty Dennis coming from a long way away to do the ruck work, punches it forward. Seaton Kernoth sitting behind the pack there, read it best. Got a quick kick which was half smothered. Jared Stokes, clever, took possession and found a teammate, but his kick was half smothered. Dennis swung in the tackle, gets a hand pass forward, and Ryan Wharf over this one, tackled by Stokes. Ball's trapped underneath him.
and another ball up right in front of the grandstand at TIO Stadium. So Dennis cleverly hooked it back there to Philo, who hasn't done as much as we were hoping for, Liz, but got a touch there. But it was Buffaloes who bring it away through Bowles. Bowles kicking it inside forward 50. Matty Campbell coming out, putting some pressure on. Picked up there by Foster. His kick smothered. Ball trickles towards the boundary line, or dangerously trying to take it across there. The Palmerston defender. The toe out of there by Lockyer. Hand pass comes across now. Hook around the corner by Hodder, but he's dragged it to the left, and a 1 point only to open the scoring in this final quarter.
Yeah, well done there by Nigel Lockyer to smother the kick from Foster. As we said, a positive for Palmerston. They've kept Foster to 1 goal after he's kicked 11 goals in the first 2 rounds of the season.
Berry under that one. Dennis does the roving over the back, gets a kick forward, and here's a chance for Palmerston if they can get their hands on it. Good work in defence there by Stokes. Moroney playing for the free kick, or it was held without it, to be fair. And
50-metre penalty too.
Yeah, so that doesn't help, and Moroney getting the ball down quickly now and looking to take it deep into the forward line. He hand passes it off to Jared Stokes. Stokes kicks forward, coming across with the McMasters with the fist. Flanagan got there first on the ground, under pressure from Campbell, and again it trickles over the boundary line for a throw-in at the Michael Long centre end.
And again, well done, Michaelis McMasters, to come across the front of the marking contest there with that fist, as Buffaloes have that right in their attacking zone there. So Palmerston will want to man up here and try not to let them score.
Dennis with the big fist again, and high tackle here. It's a free kick going Darwin's way, and it's Jalen Clark under all that again who'll win the free kick, and I think he's really upped his work rate as well, and done a lot of the hard work for Darwin to get them back to the ascendancy that they had early in the game.
Absolutely, really good leadership shown by Jalen tonight, and again last week he was in the best for his team and kicked a goal, which I think it made it into the NTFL play of the round, so he'll go back and take his shot from about 40 metres by the time he runs in.
Oh, worst kick of all time, but he's got a teammate out there all by himself. Joey Collinson on the right foot hooks it back. Foster almost took the mark in the goal square. The ball's still on the ground a couple of metres out from Darwin's goal. A little toe poke out into dangerous territory, but fortunately for Palmerston they had the numbers, but the hack kick came out, but chopped off down there by Dylan Gordon, who drove it back in forward 50. Slung in the tackle there was Kobe Anand, and
tempers are just flaring down there.
They are a bit, and
Callum Wilson's getting in a few of them. Matty Dennis, you don't see him fire up too much, but yeah, and Jalen Clark won't be wanting to watch the replay of that one. You give him a wrap, and that's what happens.
So Jared Stokes, the Buffaloes captain, going back for this set shot. Won the free kick and has been a good player all night as usual. Does lots of the hard work and a good user of the ball, and he comes in to kick for goal from about 35 out now. Slight angle, kicks on its way, and no problem there. Just kept it inside that left-hand goal post. And after almost 6 minutes, that's the first goal of this final quarter, and that means that Darwin Buffaloes have kicked the last 3 goals of the match now, so really back to where they were at half-time.
Well, Jared Stokes has been best on ground for me, Stu. That's his 4th goal this evening. A real captain's game. He's been everywhere, tackling, just putting pressure on and getting the ball out of the middle. So well done to Jared Stokes from Darwin Buffaloes, who lead 11-14-80 to Palmerston 7-1-43, just at the 6.5-minute mark of the final quarter here at TIO Stadium.
Yeah, Stokes sets himself high standards, and he's certainly lived up to them tonight, and yeah, been a really influential player for them. Ball up in the centre, Callum Wilson first onto it, hand passes forward, running back with the ball for Palmerston was Armstrong. McMasters out there now, chips it forward, and he hits Fletcher Wilson on the lead. Wilson plays on now, kicks towards centre half forward, but Pendlebury's in best position there, couldn't take the mark. Stafford picks up, hooks around on the left foot towards the goal square. That's bouncing, bounces doesn't favour him, and unfortunately it was carried over the line, and again another 50-metre penalty here. So a behind to Palmerston, but from the kick in it'll be a 50-metre penalty, and they're being marched quite a way down the ground.
Well, another game that's on after this is Nightcliff and Wanderers, and of course Philip Wills will play his 200th game. A former Darwin Buffalo captain, now playing for Nightcliff. He's played in the last 2 premierships, so congratulations to Philip Wills as we see Buffaloes get the ball out, kick another goal there to Daniel Kapara for his first goal of this evening, Stu.
Yeah, so just the strength of Darwin starting to show out now. They're winning the contested ball and using the ball better, and they transitioned that one with the aid of a 50-metre penalty from the kick in, and I think once the 50-metre penalty was given, Palmerston just didn't get themselves organised behind the ball, and Darwin were able to work it forward, and after a bit of congestion in the goal square, a pick up and kick for goal for Kapara.
Yeah, very fit team, Darwin Buffaloes. They've got Steve Cardona down there in the purple runners outfit, of course, well known in Darwin. He's a personal trainer and always puts the Darwin Buffaloes boys through their paces to get them fit, as we see them clear again the centre bounce through Shawnee Armat.
Collinson's hook kick goes deep into the forward line. Campbell's lurking again, but it's Tyrell Louis gets a hand pass this time. Brown in there again, and now Palmerston bring it out of defence. Ryan Wolf's got some work to do against a couple of opponents here, and Cossack hand passes over the top to Seaton Kernoth. Seaton Kernoth sees Jalen Clark in some space, but the kick goes over his head. A long hand pass out of defence. Callum Wilson on the end of it though, and Buffalo's working again through Loudon back to Wilson. Wilson on the left foot hooks it back towards the goal square. Almost a mark taken there, but it's Lockyer working out of defence. Runs the ball and then kicks long, but kicked blindly really. Oh, some terrific work there by Chester to tap it forward and give his teammate an opportunity, but Pendlebury chipping across takes the mark. Some unnecessary contact there, and another 50-metre penalty, and the game's starting to be marred a bit by 50-metre penalties in this last quarter.
It is. It was just there, but they'll take it, Darwin Buffaloes, and yeah, it's Ryan Pendlebury, brother of Scott Pendlebury from Collingwood, Stu, that will take that kick.
Yeah, he's had a couple of seasons up here with Buffaloes now, and he's a pretty reliable defender for them. Matty Dennis took that mark and started to wander off, but is allowed to go back behind the mark now. But things are pretty clogged up ahead of him, so he's going to have to just drive it. It goes with the barrel in the end, and it's got onto that high. Stafford underneath it takes the mark. Stafford. Maybe that's the way to go. Stafford goes back now and plays on. He kicks a wobbler forward to a one-on-one, but good defensive work. And Buffaloes work it out now, and Jackson Clark.
Yeah, Bradley Stokes there. Good defensive work of the brother of Jared, but he's actually clutching his hammy as he... Yeah, I think he's going to go straight off the field after that kick. Bradley Stokes.
So Moroney switches the ball to the other side of the ground where Eldridge has got plenty of space. He plays on down the wing looking for McKenzie. It's out in front of him now. Bounces a couple of times. He picks it up. Tackled now. Gets a quick kick forward. Collinson under some pressure. It's picked up down there by Wilson. Wilson hand passes forward, but his teammate's under pressure again. And... Buffaloes work it out, and Clark hand passes inboard, and some free players out wide now, and Collinson chips it inboard, and the mark's taken. Some good running down there by Adam Hodder, I think it is. He was involved in the play back on the wing, ran forward, got on the end of it, and now he's chipped it in again, and the mark's taken by Shawnee Armat, I think.
Yeah, it looks
deep
like
in the forward line.
Shawnee Armat there, and his mum Leonie should be here somewhere watching. He's been at Darwin Buffaloes for a number of seasons now. He made his Premier League debut way back in the 2012-13 season. So he'll go back and have a shot on goal, which would be Buffalo's 13th goal if he kicks it.
Matt's kick on the way now. Looks like he's pushed it across the face. Foster was underneath it, but off hands, through for a behind.
So by my calculation, that's about 27 scoring shots to 9 tonight, Stu.
Yeah, so Lockyer, who's been switched to defence in the second half, takes the kick in, played on and kicked long down the ground. McMaster's on the end of it, hand passes to Dennis. Dennis inboard there to Guthrie, and eventually a kick forward, but Darwin looked pretty well set up behind the ball. Wilson's tackled as he tries to come out of defence there. Jalen Clark involved. Wilson again picks up, hand passes forward. That's a clever hand pass to Cossack. Jalen Clark hand passes forward to Jared Stokes. Atkinson out wide. He chips back inside the corridor. Good vision. Had Bowles standing inside the centre square, and now Bowles runs around, plays on and brings it down towards half forward, where the kick forward by Armat with the spiral. He's kicked that one. And,
Shawnee Armat.
From outside 50, got it on the left foot with the torpedo, and just kept going and eventually bounced through for Buffalo's third goal of the quarter after he missed the set shot from a lot closer in not long ago.
Very popular player down there at Buffaloes, and there's been Armats that have played for the Buffaloes since the club was first founded over 100 years ago, and obviously we've got the Armat Gates here at TIO Stadium, so a famous name in territory football. Well done, Shawnee Armat. So 13-minute mark of the final quarter. Darwin Buffaloes 13-15, 93, leading Palmerston Magpies 7-44 here at TIO Stadium in Darwin.
So 3 goals this quarter to Darwin without reply from Palmerston, and after kicking the last 2 of the third quarter, 5 in a row has really blown the margin out again, and Darwin will go on to a deserved victory here at TIO Stadium in round 3.
We've got 2 undefeated teams coming up next, Stu, in Nightcliff and Wanderers. That'll be another interesting game.
It will be. It'll be a real guide as to where Wanderers really sit against the benchmark of the competition.
Absolutely. As we see Palmerston kick the ball high in the air there. Daniel Stafford's under it, but nobody takes the mark, and Timmy Eldridge will kick that ball out of defence there with Isaac Seaton-Kernoth just doing a little chip kick.
Mackenzie gets it forward, and Stokes running forward in some space now, picks up. He's got acres around him, takes a bounce, takes a second, dodges around Flanagan, chips in towards the goal square, but that's not his best effort going forward. And Brown again, who I'll say again has been really impressive defensively. He's had the job on Foster, and he's taken the points tonight, I would think, and had a fair bit of the ball of himself. And as we've said, Foster's only kicked the 1 goal for the night, but Palmerston coming out of defence there wasn't the best, and Bowles chips it across to Lockie McKenzie, and McKenzie just walks back now and will take a set shot from just over 40 metres out. Not much of an angle. Any breeze there is probably against him, but it's not going to affect the outcome here tonight now. Just winding down the clock a bit, McKenzie.
He's going to take his time, Lockie McKenzie. He's been away a few seasons down in Melbourne with St Kevin's in the amateurs, and started his career with Buffs, went to Nightcliff and is back with Buffs as he goes back and takes that shot, but that's going to miss just to the right there, and the umpire signals are behind here in CFS gear umpires round this weekend, round 3 of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season.
So Michaelis McMasters kicks towards the outer side. Matty Dennis is first there, but couldn't control the ball before it went out of bounds. Just back of centre wing for Palmerston.
Bit of sting's gone out of the game now, Stu, with the 50-point margin to Darwin.
Yeah, and yeah, they really got themselves back in the game, and just disappointing for them. But obviously, Darwin would be pretty happy with the way that they've come back and resisted the challenge and kicked away again. So Sandy Brock hooking that ball forward, and Wilson has a teammate out wide in Jackson Clark, goes over his head. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. And another boundary throw in. So he had plenty of space out there, but Wilson's kick just had too much on it and went over his head and bounced out of bounds.
Well, Buffs coach Cam Stokes, he'd be pretty happy with his start to the season. I saw him playing Div 1 today for Buffs, so he might be another player that comes back into the side in the coming rounds.
Jared Stokes again runs onto this one inside 50, kicks looking for Matty Campbell. He's out in front now under plenty of pressure. Good defensive work from McMasters, but Campbell's still in the contest. Grabs Tyrell Louis by the leg, apparently not, and Foster picks up now. He chips the ball across towards centre half forward. Coming in hard there was Guthrie. Stokes is underneath it, almost got pushed there, but again it's Palmerston doing the work in defence, and Sandy Brock hand passes to Stafford, gets it back, clever tap on to Wilson, but Seaton Kernoth standing strong for Buffaloes, drives the ball back forward. Foster pushes his opponent out of the way, gets tackled and hand passes out wide, but it's Darwin again through Brown. Evades the tackle of Campbell, chips inboard, and Stafford on the end of this one at half back. He switches the ball towards the outer side. Mark's taken there by Williams. He hand passes outside to Guthrie. Guthrie takes a bounce. That long left foot forward, looking for Toshi Kernoth, who gets on the end of it and takes a mark out in front. And that was better ball movement by Palmerston going forward. And Kernoth had a bit of a look, but I think he'll go back and take the shot at goal. Now he won't. He chips inboard and finds his teammate just outside forward 50.
Yeah, good hard running there by Toshi Kernoth to hit that ball, and I think that is Chris Williams with that. And Darwin Buffalo's player is on the mark on the 50-metre line, so he'll have to take that from just outside 50.
Take just about his best late in the last quarter. Kicks on the way. It's going right to the goal line and just goes over the outreached hands of Cossack there on the last line, under a bit of pressure from Stafford, and that's a really good finish from Williams from outside 50, and a bit of reward for Palmerston. They that margin that was 50 points was probably a bit unfortunate for them, although the scoring shots would suggest that it perhaps could have been more. But you know, they've shown a bit of fight in this last half, I think, Liz, and there's enough there for Alwyn Davey to work with, and yeah, they just fell out of the game for long patches, which is disappointing. But when they're in the game, they've been able to move the ball, and they've got plenty of talent on the park. They just need to get it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just their skill errors tonight have let them down, but when they have had the ball, we saw them score goals within 15 seconds from the centre break. So they've certainly got the talent there. They just need to put it all together. So as we see the game come up to the 19.5-minute mark, and it's Darwin Buffaloes 13-16-94, leading Palmerston 8-2-50 on AFL NTV's football coverage here tonight.
Matty Dennis doing a power of work again, and he got that one forward. Stafford in a one-on-one, couldn't take the mark, and it's gone out of bounds in the left forward pocket. But yeah, Dennis doesn't just do the ruck work. He gets around the ground, gets forward, gets at the bottom of packs, and
he's an absolute workhorse, and there's a reason why he's the captain this year, and he won the club's best and fairest in 2018-19, and he's very highly regarded in Melbourne, where he plays down there for Bundoora. He's won a couple of medals down there as well, has Matty Dennis, and as a ripping fellow, he always stops for a chat, and very friendly fella as well.
So the ball deep in Palmerston's forward line. Seaton Kernoth hooks a hand pass over the top. Jackson Clark with a chip click out of defence. Oh, the mark couldn't be taken out there, and
I think it was
in
out
fact
on the
was
full.
out on the full anyway. And now Stafford in some space out in front of goal. So good vision there, and Stafford broke the shackles, got out by himself and takes the mark, and he's actually got an opportunity to kick his 5th goal for the night, which is a pretty good effort, considering it would only be Palmerston's 9th.
Absolutely, and a good effort after he landed heavily in the last down the other end to come back on and finish the game when we thought he might not have been able to. Kicks that one, and the goal umpire signals are behind, and of course it's CFS gear umpiring round in the NTFL this weekend, so great job by all our umpires out there this weekend and always.
So Dylan Gordon brings it in, and Darwin work it up towards the centre of the ground. Chip inboard to Jalen Clark from Atkinson, and Jalen Clark still working hard in this last quarter. He's getting calls from Jackson Clark on the outside, but he was pretty well covered, and Jalen just chips it over to Mackenzie on the wing here. Mackenzie goes backwards, just chewing some time off the clock to Atkinson. Atkinson back to Dylan Gordon, all the way back to half-back, and out the other side now to Moroney on the outer half-back flank. Moroney now goes short again down the wing. over the head of Eldridge there and through the hands and out of bounds in front of the TIO Stadium scoreboard.
So it can't be too much longer to go before the sirens, Stu. Just ticking over 22 minutes here at TIO Stadium.
Yeah, so as you said, Liz, Darwin opening the season with 3 wins after tonight, and you know, their season's well and truly on track, and they've been pretty impressive with what we've seen. Absolutely, and Cam Stokes will be very, very happy with his start to his coaching career in the NTFL. So Guthrie's worked hard for Palmerston again tonight, got that one forward. Hand pass comes over the top. Quick shot at goal, but it's going across the face, it's bouncing towards the boundary line. It's not going to go out of bounds. Wilson, who hasn't been Buffalo's worst player, also got the hand pass across to Bowles. Bowles chipped back towards the goal square, and Seaton Kernoth takes that mark and now brings it back this side to Moroney at half-back. He kicks a high one over his head. That's probably not what people will be looking for this late in the game with a contested mark, but hand pass comes to Jalen Clark. Looked to bounce, but changed his mind, swung back and inboard, and Armat running on to assist, gets the kick forward, and Hodder takes the mark one-handed over his head. He hooks it around looking for Jackson Clark on the bounce, hand pass back to Hodder, and Hodder runs inboard now and kicks long towards centre half forward. Foster's going to get on the end of this one, and he just made a bit of space from his opponent Brown, who looks pretty weary late in the game, and Foster took the mark out in front, and he'll have a chance to kick his second for the night. Can he kick another one? He's kicked 11 in the first 2 weeks, but it's been held by 1 tonight in a great effort by Palmerston Magpies, and he'll kick that from about 40 metres there as the siren sounds here at TIO Stadium. That's not his best kick either. So a comprehensive win to Darwin Buffaloes here at TIO Stadium, 13-17-95, defeating Palmerston Magpies 8-3-51 in just a fantastic start to the NTFL season for Buffs, Stu. Yeah, it is, as we said before. So 3 from 3, and they're really flying early in the season. As you said, they look fit, and they just look well organised as well, and they've got their former coach Matty Campbell out on the ground who helps with that. But yeah, as you said, really impressed with the leadership of Matty and Jalen Clark and Jared Stokes and Tim Eldridge, and you know, they've got a lot to look forward to this season, I think. And but yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. Waratahs have started well, Nightcliff, of course, and Wanderers, teams that you don't expect, and some of those teams that you do expect are down the bottom of the table. Tiwi without a win, Southern Districts without a win, and Saints with their first win today. So really interesting season to look forward to once some of those teams get rolling as well. And you know, every game, every week, you've got to play well to win a game, I think. Absolutely, and it sets us up for a great match next week. Darwin Buffaloes take on Waratah, so that'll be an absolute cracker. Well, for me, Jared Stokes was outstanding tonight, kicked 4 goals and had a fantastic game for Buffs, along with the likes of Lockie McKenzie, Jalen Clark. As you said, Stu, Hayden Brown was fantastic in defence for Palmerston Magpies, and Daniel Stafford finished with 4 goals. So big thank you to Stu Davis for joining me in the commentary box tonight, and thanks to everyone for watching. It's Darwin Buffaloes 13-17-95 defeated Palmerston Magpies 8-3-51 here at TIO Stadium in Darwin, and big thanks to everyone for watching, and we'll catch you all next week.
Full time here at TIO Stadium, and it's the Buffs with the win.